Hello, welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. We've rewound a bit from last week when we did Stars and Bible Black. Now we've got to do the albums that it was recorded from. And today it is live in Zurich. It's November the 15th, 73. They recorded 3 shows. It was Zurich, Amsterdam and Glasgow. I really like Glasgow. And sadly, we're not going to talk about Glasgow very much until we get to The Great Deceiver. We'll have a snippet of it. So I don't really know why we got Zurich instead. I don't think Zurich is as good as Glasgow. Although I understand why Amsterdam was the mainstream release. We'll talk about that next week. But yeah, Jamie Muir is gone by this point. We haven't heard much since Larks, and Aspic and this November the 15th. But incidentally, we were actually a year since our last live concert review from Guildford. Almost exactly a year. November 73. And that was November 72. There's a couple of things in between. There was a bonus show, which is a really good show, on the Starless box, which is from, I think, from September or maybe October. And you've got the video of Central Park 73 as well. But apart from that, there's like a big gap, there's a big jump. And the band have changed in between, and we didn't really hear them change. Sadly. But like I said, it's unbalanced because Jamie Muir isn't there, and what happened was that the rhythm section got extremely strong and sort of became a flying brick wall and sort of butted their way through everything, which is awesome. They created awesome music, but unbalanced music that wasn't sustainable and wasn't very pleasant for some of the band members. You know, the next 10 months-ish are the best, some of the very best King Crimson, some of the very best. There's stuff still to come which is fantastic as well, you know, but they would struggle to meet this stuff. The improvisation here is the best King Crimson improvisation for this next 10 months. They come close later on, but I don't think so. I think that in terms of improvisations, this is as good as it gets. You could argue that, you know, the stuff with Adrian Ballou, which is better with the songs and with some of the playing, but the actual improvisations here are really good. As with 1971-72, there's quite a few of these to get through, so there will be a lot of it's that song again and then it's that song again, so don't worry, we'll get there in the end. Red will be episode 36, so obviously if you don't like the live reviews, I'll see you in episode 36. So in terms of Stars and Bible Black, only the Mincer, a section of one of the improvisations, is actually part of this one. It's interesting how they didn't really talk much about what they were going to do, they just did it. That's probably really important, that if they had their plan, they thought, oh no, you can't do that, don't do that, let's do this and it'll be smoother. Never would have been as amazing. So yeah, a lot of tracks to get through. Track 1 is Walk On, No Pussyfooting. Now this is the intro tape by Fripp and Eno, for the first time, actually, the first time we've heard this one, so it's obviously been made at this point, and I think played at every single concert, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong if there is one where they didn't do that after this point. Then track 2 is Improv, Some Pussyfooting. Noodling and warming up. I think the title's meaningful in that they're getting ready, and there's a bit of a sound checkiness to it, but it's quite cool. Reminds me a bit of the 2014-2015 intro when they play a bit of brrr stuff, but no tapes underneath that. Obviously, the No Pussyfooting tape is finished. And then we have Larks, Tongues and Aspic Part 1. This is the first time we've heard it without Jamie Muir, and it is a bit subdued without Jamie Muir. This is the song where he's really missed. It was never quite the same. The energy isn't there. That's okay. Track 4 is a Robert Fripp announcement. Of the entertaining ones, this one's not that entertaining. He says that, you know, they're going to record the show, etc. He mentions tuning mellotrons. Give us a minute while we tune our mellotrons and get them into a vaguely within a semitone of each other. There's a great quote, tuning a mellotron doesn't. Track 5 is Lament. Now I think this is the best Lament of the 3 shows. This is actually the best performance of it. And the question is this actually the album version it wasn't recorded in the studio? Because it's very close. In fact, I'm going to check. Turns out no, it isn't. It is different. But I prefer this to the album version because I think it's a great version of Lament. I like it. There's probably better versions to come, I would think. But it's the kind of song that got really good as they went on. Track 6 is Peace, the theme. What? Yeah, Peace, the theme. You can imagine the response of the audience. That's quite funny. And track 7 is Cat Food. They're playing Cat Food. Of all the songs to choose from, you know, why am I playing Epitaph? They're playing Cat Food. It's a good version. It's much more commercial without the piano. Plus it suits Wenton perfectly. I think I prefer John Wenton singing it to Lake singing it, actually. That's probably why they played it. They probably realised it worked really well, so why not? Great. It shows it wasn't that they wouldn't play old stuff. It's just that there were more important things to do. Track 8, The Night Watch. I love The Night Watch. This is a good version. There is a suggestion that Wenton sort of stumbled over the lyrics a bit because they're a bit fast, which is why I think probably why they had to do the whole thing, most of it in the studio. But I like it. I don't see that much difference. It's kind of always good, really. Track 9 is Fracture. Yeah, I mean there's little difference between different versions of Fracture. Only fans can really tell the difference. And it's really Bill that varies it and does quite a few different things. But that's later on, really. Partly because Fripp obviously is trapped and the band have to follow that. So there's only the little improvisation bit they can actually do much, and that tends to be quite similar. Track 10, or actually disc 2, The Law of Maximum Distress Part 1. Now this is the first part of 3 tracks, which is an improvisation, which had to be reconstructed. A lot of build-up. Some Evil Universe Zero bass, actually, so it's pretty cool. It builds up. But of course, Evil Universe Zero with bass. I do think they took the best bit, because the next track is the Mincer, and it's audience. It's weird, I can't hear where it, you know where the track ends, but I can't, it seems like the end of the last track is audience, and then this is audience. Because the actual Mincer, we've got the overdubbed version, but the tapes that came from when they cut it out have been overdubbed, I think. They haven't got the original tape, sadly. So here it's reconstructed. Then we got Law of Maximum Distress Part 2, which is what comes after the Mincer, so we actually hear what happens afterwards, and it's only a couple of minutes of it's sort of dun 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 dun, that bit, and then it just fades out. Really, that's it. If it was better than that, they would have released it. But that's that's the way with these things. But we are back to soundboard with that, so that's cool. Track 4 is Easy Money. Some people think there's too many versions of Easy Money, but I don't. The middle section, at least. You can have as many middle sections of Easy Money as you like. I think it's great. Track 14 is Exiles, same as always. Exiles was always very similar, always good. There's no bad versions of Exiles, except maybe occasionally when David Croft was a bit out of tune in '74, but track 15 is some more Pussyfooting improvisation. Evil sounds building up into Talking Drum, really. It's one of those little ones. We've got a few of those to come. Then we've got Talking Drum, Larks, Part 2, Schizoid Man. Great versions. It's strange how good the Talking Drum was without Jamie Muir. We don't have a live Talking Drum that's recorded properly with Jamie Muir, to be fair. And these are good versions. They're all better in Amsterdam, though. See you next week.